Welcome to Crimebox Weekly. I'm Carl, and I am joined by my co-host Vanessa.
Hello.
Once again, remote. We tried to do the whole in-person thing the last 2 weeks, and let me tell you, it's been an interesting couple of weeks. Starting with the fact that I decided to drop a knife into my leg.
Yeah, it was like
What was
almost
it?
a
Last
foot.
Sunday?
Yeah, last Sunday.
Yeah. hmm
Almost lost a toe.
So for our listeners, Vanessa comes over when we do our in-person. She comes over to the house. We cook dinner. We have like this whole friend thing. And that just happened to be, we did the whole thing where I was cooking dinner and I got distracted because my husband was calling me. So I was trying to answer the phone, set the knife down. Knife went onto the counter, but then proceeded to leave the counter and fall into my ankle. It was a fun night. So naturally, we didn't record that night. And then yesterday, on Sunday, I was on my way home and I got T-boned. So we didn't record yesterday either. Before we jump in, Vanessa, I do want to talk about something that's kind of become near and dear to my heart. I recently joined the North Carolina Conservative group on Facebook. And I did it because I'm a conservative, right? And it's not, no, Vanessa, it's not because I wanted to stir the pot, although it's fun to stir the pot. And full disclosure, I'm also a member of the 5051 North Carolina group on Facebook as well. And that is more of a liberal, progressive leaning group of people. And when I tell you that there is a difference between reception in one group and reception in another, it's palpable. In the conservative group, I posted that I'm a Marine vet and I'm a business owner here in North Carolina, and that I am avidly against Trump, and I was wearing my Veterans Against Trump hoodie, and I'm proud of that hoodie, right? But the responses that I got on that group were so hate filled and so vicious that it made me kind of rethink whether or not I even want to identify as a conservative. Because in the conservative side of the house, if you are not a Trump worshiper, if you don't believe in MAGA and you're not a true believer in MAGA, you aren't conservative. You aren't real. You're not patriotic. You're not an American. It's just constant hate.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, over in the 5051 group, the initial take with me was a little standoffish because I am a registered Republican, and that the way that they identify and prevent trolls from the Make America Great Again side of the house from coming in and being trolls in the group is that they have voter registration rules. And so what they will do is they'll make sure, hey, like if this person's causing problems, first thing they're going to do is check to see what their voter registration is.
Mm-hmm.
Now, does that mean that every Republican is MAGA? No. And it is a flawed system, but it's a decent system. And the reason I bring that up is because I went in and I gave some advice to the folks about how they're going about conducting a certain type of action. And I explained to them that the way that it looked, the optics of what they were doing were such that if the wrong people got a hold of what they were doing, it could be misconstrued as becoming militarized, and they could be the target of the Trump administration, DHS, ICE, you have it, for being insurrectionists. Their initial response to me was standoffish because I thought I was trolling them.
Mm-hmm.
When I introduced myself as a Republican, and when it made sure to emphasize the fact that I'm not a red hat wearing Republican, which sucks because I really want to be a red hat veteran. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah,
want to
wear
have
good
the
look
Marine
good,
Corps
eh?
League. Right. But I can't do that because MAGA has totally screwed that color. But once they found out that, I'm more
You're not a
aligned
jerk.
with them, right. They
Yeah.
they were friendly. They were friendly, and there were no attacks. There was no like insulting. There was no name calling, nothing like that. No bullying, nothing. And now they accept me. I'm a Republican in a progressive group, but they
Mhm.
accept me because we share the same values and we have the same purpose and mission and goals.
Right. There's like I'm the polar opposite on the other side, which, in the should everybody look at it as, and be respectful towards everybody's view? Absolutely. I mean, not everybody has the exact same view as other people. I think when people bring violence and anger and emotions into any speech, anything that they're doing, your message that you're trying to convey gets lost. And you've lost so many people because you've put emotions into it. But at the same time, it's very easy for people when one person's being hateful towards another person, they jump on that bandwagon, and they're like, "Oh, let's go, like, I believe with this person, so therefore I'm gonna jump on and we're all just gonna, bash you." Whereas we're all Americans and we all have different viewpoints, and we don't all agree with everything that everybody else agrees with, and everybody looks at things differently and different views, so can't we just agree to, disagree instead of let's be hateful and be mean to people that don't agree with us or don't align with us? Like, that's just so it's like we teach our kids, like growing up, like my son, I always teach him, I'm like, I want you to treat people the way they treat you. If they're mean to you, by all means, be mean right back to them. But if they're nice to you, I don't ever want to hear you being mean to them.
Hmm.
Like, it's what the energy that you put out, it comes back to you, at some point in your life. It always comes back to you. I'm a huge believer in whatever you put in the universe comes back to you in the universe. Those people that are hateful, they're gonna get it back to them, in the craziest ways, and you know what? That's because you're hateful and you're a keyboard warrior. Like, you wouldn't say this stuff to someone in their face. Why say it over the internet?
Yeah, one of the intriguing things to me is the fact that it almost seems like these people are unable, and I say these people because again, not all of them were bad, right? Like in that conservative group, there were people who would comment and be like, listen, look at this stream. All he did was say that he's a conservative and he doesn't align with Trump. And y'all are going on the attack. And you wonder why people don't like us.
Mhm. Exactly. Because you get those the 5%. I'm telling you, it's the 5%. And it's they ruin it for everybody, and they honestly, when they're even trying to get their point across, those 5%, whichever side it is, doesn't matter. When they put all that emotion into it, you lose what you're trying to I honestly, I tune them out. I'm like, I just can't. Whatever point, even it may be the best point and how to make $1 million in, like, 2 minutes. I'm not gonna listen to you
Mhm.
because you're just running your jaw for no reason. So
Yeah, that original post that I put in there is now hit 461 comments and 321 reactions.
nice. Look at you. You're
The
becoming Facebook famous in North Carolina.
for more example, like you get just recently in the last 20-30 minutes, I have one person that says Semper Fi, like, hey, cool, like he and I are on the same page. We can both identify with a common background of being Marines,
Mhm.
and we can go from there. Whereas the very next comment was from a faceless profile that says, go suck a dick, you limp wristed liberal.
Be like, "Was that supposed to be an insult?" Like, well, I don't understand why people use "suck a dick" as an insult. Like, okay. Like,
Hmm.
okay.
Like,
Like, it's not an insult. Like, come up with something better. Like, something better. Like, if you're gonna just
yeah.
like, there's so much better stuff to say out there. Like, be a little bit more creative. It's just at that point, it's just annoying.
Speaking of sucking dick, this is a great way to segue into the news topics that we'd like to discuss this week.
Oh.
And in keeping to our true format, folks, Vanessa hasn't shared anything with me, and I haven't shared anything with her. Although we do run things by my husband to make sure that we're not going to say the wrong things or say the same thing.
Mhm.
Um, we did not do that this week.
No, we did not, but that's okay. We're just going with
Yeah.
it. I'm sure
Yeah.
mine has nothing to do with yours.
So what I was going to use last week was the revelations of Trump or of Putin having pictures of Trump blowing Bubba.
What? I'm gonna need you to wait, what? Who's Bubba?
So, and that's where the conversation comes in, right? There was speculation that Bubba was also is Bill Clinton. And I'll backtrack real quick.
Okay, thank you.
This email is from Epstein's brother to Epstein himself, and they are conversing about topics that are going on in current events at the time of the emails being sent. And this is back before Epstein had been arrested. It was just prior
Trump?
to
It was
just prior to Trump, if not overlapping on Trump.
Gotcha.
And so they had this conversation, and it was all presented to us by the Epstein estate, right? So the way that it worked is that while we were waiting for the Epstein files to get released, which happened last week, the Epstein estate released a whole bunch of emails.
Yeah, I did. I
think it was like
about it too the other week.
Maybe that's why Brandon said, "Don't touch this one."
Right.
But and the only reason I'm bringing it back up, right, is because the rumors were going around that it was Bill Clinton, because Bill Clinton has the nickname of Bubba. Then Epstein's brother came out and said, "Nah, it wasn't Bill Clinton."
So what did the email say? Because I'm trying to like see how you segued that from sucking dick to Bubba and Trump. Like,
so Mark Epstein, Epstein's brother, said that the emails were meant as a humorous private exchange between Epstein's brother and some other individuals within the Epstein family. And essentially what it says is, make sure to tell him to ask, he was talking about Steve Bannon, tell Bannon to ask Putin if he still has the pictures of Trump blowing Bubba.
Okay.
And that's why I segued into that, because it's comical because of the fact that, blowing Bubba, and if it is Bill Clinton, that means that Trump gave Bill Clinton a blowjob.
I mean, they did end up killing, Epstein. So if you want something, they get it done. I mean,
right?
Less. So is it truth or fake? Because
Epstein's brother came out and said, "No, it was just joking. We were having a conversation among us. Bubba doesn't mean that it was Bill, and it wasn't really real." Which spurred more conversation, because everyone was like, "Well, because Ghislaine Maxwell had a horse named Bubba."
Yeah.
Which spiraled into, now Trump is blowing a horse.
Oh my gosh.
And that's what I wanted to talk about last week, is that, this story, which really doesn't have any type of solidity to it, right? There's nothing valid underneath it. But what I wanted to talk to is the way that this thing grew and morphed and developed into something that it didn't need to be.
Right.
Which then, go ahead.
I was going to say, because people take something and they're like, oh, they see it on TikTok or whatever. And AI is great because you can mess with AI to make anybody believe whatever they want. So it's like, fact check it before you start and continue this crazy speculation. Fact check it. Take 2 seconds to fact check something and be like, is this real, or is this, is this AI? Is it, is this something that's just been exaggerated to be funny, and people got a hold of it and just, it was like a wildfire and it was out of control. Just like when they do with, like, celebrity death hoaxes. It's like, what? Like, they're not dead. Stop killing off all these celebrities that aren't dead. Like, it's ridiculous.
So that's what spurred the next, and so like it has grown and morphed, and like essentially what this photo was is Bill Clinton sitting in a chair, and Donald Trump on his knees, back to the camera, facing Bill Clinton between Bill Clinton's legs, and what looks like he's undoing Bill's zipper. People have like taken this picture and they've run it through all types of AI, like, hey, tell us if this is an AI generated thing. And all the AIs are coming back and saying, nope, 5.5% AI generated. This is likely a human generated thing. Photoshop, right? Like it's easy to easy to go there. But again, that it's grown its own life and it's turned into this thing that may be true, may not be true. I mean, if Donald Trump is going around giving blowjobs to people, I could care less. Like,
Right. Same.
what you do behind closed doors is what you do behind closed doors.
Right. It's not our business.
Right. But in that same tone, and last week the same thing happened. Someone took the U.S. Constitution and fed it to AI and said, hey, is this AI generated? And the AI evaluator came back and said, yes, this is 100% AI.
I knew it. Our poor founding fathers had AI. Damn.
Fucking cheating bastards.
Knew it. Computers have been controlling us this whole time. Oh my God.
So, I mean, it's a long, like, shot story, right? Where we've gone from an email exchange between two people that was supposed to be private, that was released to the public, that grew legs because people just cannot stand the person that's in the Oval Office. So that was my first story.
So leading off of that with, like the made up stories and things that evolve and grow and ends up having like investigations for it. So there was James goes to UNCW, University of North Carolina in Wilmington, and he got an email the other day that said something about the fraternities, that there was a rumor that went around that said that there was a frat that was targeting Marines out there and beating them up. And I was like, what? I'm like, that's a thing? Like they would literally go out there. But it ended up being that it was actually somebody just started this rumor. It spread like crazy. It ended up that Camp Lejeune and UNCW officials were actually getting involved and like investigating all this, and they didn't find any found basis for it. So it just seems like somebody went out there and spread this awful rumor, and it just grew, which to me is completely and totally sad. But I will say I was in Wilmington this weekend for the Marine Corps Ball. It's their 250-year birthday. I'm not a Marine, but I am dating a retiree. So when we went, I'm going to show a picture. It's fun. So there's our picture. And we were on the battleship. And we were there. And the Commandant of the Marine Corps gives this a speech, and you get to see it over the TV screen and everything. And so I was watching it, and he said something about China. And he's like, our enemy right now is coming up, and something about China. And I was like, what's he talking about? Because, I don't follow the news. I'll be honest with you. The news to me, I stopped watching the news in 2018 or no, 2008. And the reason I did was because I was married to a corpsman who was stationed with the Marines. He was over in Afghanistan and Iraq. And to me, it was every other day something about, someone dying over there, an IUD explosion, everything. And I was just like, I can't watch this. It's driving me nuts. It's crazy. It's too much. And it's always negative. So instead of watching it and spiraling, because I hadn't heard from him for like a week, I would end up I stopped watching the news. And to me, it's I hate to say it, it made my life better because I don't focus on the negative that's being reported. But I do miss a lot of current events because Carl will tell you when he comes to me, he's like, hey, did you hear about this? Nope, sure didn't. Let's pretend I did. That's my answer to him for everything. But
You've said it on the show before, so it's all right.
yeah, I'm like, pretend I do. Yeah, let's just go with it. But I lost my train of thought.
China.
Oh, okay. So then I started like looking into it about, like what's going on with China and everything. And I was actually pulled it up. There is the like t- China and Taiwan are having this like huge conflict. They haven't gone to war together, but there is like a thought that if they do, that China may bomb US bases in Taiwan and stuff like that. So I was like, ooh, that's not good. Like that's not good. And I know there's tensions over there, and they even said that, China has been studying our military, has been following what the US does, and has been incorporating a lot of how we do our wars and take it into their lives, and like they literally study us. So that in itself is kind of scary to think that there's this country that's, I mean, it's a very large country that has been studying us for years and for multiple wars, and to think that they could literally just bomb us. And then not that we wouldn't come in with a great force and everything, but it's just like we just got out of a 20-year war. Like, I just want to see some type of peace through anything, some peace. I'm tired of getting involved in other countries' wars and everything. Like, and I'm not saying that Iraq and Afghanistan wasn't our war. I mean, it did trigger from 9/11, so I understand why we got into it. But it also went a lot longer and a lot further, and we diverted a lot. Um, but it's just interesting to see, what's going to happen with China and Taiwan. Have you read about it?
Yeah. So when I joined the Marine Corps way back in the day when dinosaurs roamed the earth, um, that was a thing, right? So I actually got stationed in Japan, and that as an intel analyst, we focused on North Korea and China.
Hmm.
Um, and the consternation about China and Taiwan has been going on since the since Mao took over and the communists took over the nation of China. And if I'm being honest, the only thing that is saving Taiwan right now is the fact that China knows that if they go after Taiwan before the United States has established itself as a local producer of microchips, then Taiwan no longer serves a purpose to the global economy. Therefore, Taiwan's fair game, and we're not going to stop them. Which Biden tried to do during with the introduction and the passage of the CHIPS Act, which has then since been undercut by the Trump administration and bowled over by the Trump administration through the use of tariffs and the ignoring of the laws and the money that was allocated for the CHIPS Act.
Yeah.
So long story short, I do see that as something that is close to the boat. I'm surprised the commandant didn't mention Southern Command, and the drug boat strikes that are going on down there. I would argue that we're closer to a war with Venezuela than we are with China.
Oh, great. Now I have
And
another
that's why I
thing to
brought
look
up
up.
the whole, I'll tell you about it, right? Like
Okay, good.
we've killed, the United States of America, through military strikes, has killed roughly 83 people in the conduct of military aviation strikes in international water of what we are assessing, or what our military assesses to be, drug boats coming from Venezuela, which is ironic because Colombia is the number one importer of. We also have a carrier sitting off the coast of Venezuela. We have a Marine expeditionary unit, or at least a detachment of Marines on a boat sitting off of the coast of Venezuela in the Caribbean. Funny story, true story. Marines accidentally invaded and seized a portion of Mexico last week.
What?
Even put
How
up
do you
signs saying
accidentally
U.S. government property.
how do you what, did they just move the border? Like, nobody would notice? "Hey, I'm gonna move this."
I haven't really dug into it too much because I thought it was just the funniest thing. But yeah, no, they did. They invaded the beach. They seized the beach. They put up the signs, and then the Mexican army and the Mexican Navy kicked the Marines off the beach and back onto
Right.
their boats.
Oh my god. That's funny. That's kinda like, does it apply to countries? Like, if we take a foot into your land, like, into your country, and we hold it for a certain amount of time, does it then just become ours?
I think that's the mentality of our president. Yes.
Stop. People really I don't understand that. Like, if like, let me move my fence a little bit onto your property. If you don't notice for so many years, it then becomes my property. Like, that's so dumb. Like, no, it's
Isn't that
not.
how it works, though?
Yeah. Is it I forget what it's called. Eminent domain, I think?
Eminent domain is where the government comes in and says, "Hey, this is mine."
Oh, yeah, then no, it's not that. What the
Yeah.
I don't know,
I don't know.
but
I'll look it up. Let me
yeah,
let me
'cause
see.
I know there
But
is something
anyways, yeah.
about it.
So Venezuela, and the reason that there's such there's so much tension with Venezuela is for multiple reasons. And I got another funny story after this. But the primary reason is that the former leader of Venezuela has been charged with similar crimes to what Trump is facing when he leaves office again. And so Trump is trying to support this guy by using military force to intimidate Venezuela into dropping the charges on their former leader and letting him go free, which is stupid. But the funny thing here, and this is the funny story, is that Venezuela is a large producer of oil for the world. They're part of OPEC plus. But in order to sell their oil, they have to dilute it with a certain type of fuel or fuel additive that they get from Russia. Well, currently there is a Russian tanker sitting off the coast of Venezuela. Here's the funny story. Every time that tanker tries to make port in Venezuela, a United States destroyer gets in its way and plays chicken
I mean, that's a very
to prevent
expensive
it.
chicken. We're not
It's just
talking
like,
about, like,
you can't get there.
"Oh, what are you gonna do, run into me?" That would be terrible. What happens if they just like, other some like, some countries are their give a fuck is broken. So they're gonna be like, "Oh, you wanna sit there? I'm just gonna keep going," and they're gonna run right into them. 'Em. They're playing a very dangerous
Hmm.
game with people's lives, and I just don't
I would
understand.
say that some in the administration want it. They want a reason to go to war.
Everybody,
I
I
mean,
think I
Trump
feel
is
like
he's the president of peace, so he claims. But I think that some in his administration, Stephen Miller, want to go to war. They want to take us to war
I mean,
because they will get rich.
yeah. I mean, probably, but it's just like, Jesus, like, at some point, like, God, just let people, ugh, like, playing chicken, just I mean, that's a I don't even know how much destroying a cost, but it's gotta be a couple like, $100,000,000. Like,
We're close to a billion.
okay, I was gonna say billion, but I was like, maybe that's just a carrier that's a billion, but, like,
Yeah, that's a couple billion.
yeah, like, we're not playing, like, this isn't, "Oh, you sunk my battleship," like, we're not playing a game here, like, this is real life, "Oh, hey, D4, boom." Like, what the hell?
Right. Yeah, and I just think it's hilarious that they keep doing this thing, right? And it's almost like the I'm not touching you from when we were kids, like your siblings would be like, I'm not touching you, and
Oh,
just
those are just
very close enough. And if you
yeah,
responded, then it's your fault because you got angry.
yeah. The ones where
Little siblings.
they would go like this,
Yeah.
and then they'd shoot it sideways at you, and you're like, "Y don't
Hmm.
flinch." Like, I'm gonna flinch. That's what I wanted to talk about, was just in how they tied into each other, and I think that, which is so crazy because I had no idea what you were gonna bring up, and, like, the interpretation of things, and how, it starts out really small and then it goes really big, and it really actually
Hmm.
tied into, my stories as well because of, everything. It was just crazy to think of all the weird stuff that just gets blown out, and then, of course, like, the important stuff is so, like, underplayed, and they don't talk about it, and but it's like the small things get blown out of proportion, and they're like, "Oh, this is what happened," and, like, "This is for real," and it's just like, ugh,
It's
so
almost like a woohoo, look over here while they're doing something over here
yeah, it's a
type
distraction.
situation. Yeah, absolutely. And we try to, at least I try to keep tabs on everything, but sometimes it's hard to do, just because of um, the way that things work and the way that things go through the process. So it's we got to stay on top of it. We got to stay with it. Coming soon to the website um, is going to be a form, so people, you, the listeners, can go on there and you can submit articles that you want us to talk about, that you think they're important, so that we have a little something to give to you, so that as you're listening, you can be like, hey, I told them about this, because the best way to be informed is to have everyone be informed and everyone talk about the issues, just like the way that our founding fathers had designed it. um,
Yeah.
so we are going to continue to do these. I know that we missed the last couple of weeks, and that was largely due to some technological issues. And if
Yep,
you miss
that's
it, I was a guest on 2 podcasts, um, at the beginning of this month, and I'm looking at being a guest on another set of podcasts starting at the beginning of December. So on December 2nd, I'll be a guest on the podcast Lethal Venom. I'll send out the
Ooh, I
links to
like the
that
name.
podcast. Um, on the 9th of December, I'll be a guest on a podcast called Book 101 Review, where they talk to individuals about the books that have kind of molded them and helped get them to their point. So I'll be talking about a lot of those books. I mean, for me, First to Fight is one of the biggest ones. But I mean, there's a slew. The Case for Democracy was one of the biggest books that I read as a young 20-year-old, just kind of putting my toe into the political spectrum. But the 10th is being a guest on the Shades of Jade podcast. On the 11th, I will be a guest on a show titled Lean to the Left podcast. So
Lean to
looking
the
forward
left.
to all, Leaning to the Left. Looking forward to all of those and talking to those individuals. They're great. I'll put those links in the show notes. And then, next week when we record, we'll do the same thing, where I'll advertise it again. I'll look for that stuff to pop up on Facebook too, so if you don't miss it. But we are out there. We're out there actively trying to engage with people and trying to have those conversations, because conversations do need to be had.
Of
So
course.
I think that's all we have um, for this week. Vanessa, you got what? You got anything?
No, 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 no. I talked what
No,
I wanted to
no.
talk about. That was all my
Yeah,
things, yeah. Just no
yeah.
more, like,
I mean,
I'm gonna have to put you in bubbles. Like, you need to be in bubble wrap because I feel like the universe right now is just trying to kill you for some reason. Like, I'm not sure what's going on.
listen.
Like, I
I
don't know
don't
what
know what
karma is. You
happened.
like, I don't know what happened in your past, but karma may be catching up to you. So whatever you did, maybe you just need to like be like, hey, listen, I'm gonna stay in a bubble until you pass karma.
You know what it is? I finally decided not to be a hermit. Um, and
Oh, and the
the
universe
world
said
is
do it.
catching up to me. They
The world
said,
was
no,
like,
go
no,
back.
go back in your home. Like this world's too crazy for you. Oh no.
Goodness. We next year we will be having guests on the show as well. So Vanessa and I will be able to talk to people, and have conversations with those individuals as well. So, um, yeah, that's all I got. That's all Vanessa has.
Yeah.
Until next week.